It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another one. In this one, we're gonna take a look at some behind the scenes set pics from The Last of Us on HBO. Some of these images actually give us a pretty clear idea what type of atmosphere we're gonna see as far as the TV show is concerned and how much it is similar or different from the video games. And boy oh boy, it looks identical to the video game, and it looks like they brought the video game to life. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to look at these behind the scenes pictures and break it down. Alright, as always, before we jump into this, if you're new here and haven't subscribed and enjoyed the content by the end, make sure to subscribe to join our community, share and smash the like button, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's just dive right in. Now, one thing I do want to say right off the bat is, for those of you that don't know, they are actually filming The Last of Us in Canada. They're filming in a province called Alberta. Now, the exciting thing about it is most of the filming they're gonna do for season 1 actually takes place in Calgary, Alberta, which is the city that I'm in. In fact, they're filming a few blocks from where I am, which is pretty awesome. So first thing, let's take a look at this clapperboard. Obviously, this is for the premiere of The Last of Us. So we can see the director is Kantemir Balagov, who is a Russian director, I believe. We will see a picture of him in a little bit. Now, a while back, Gabriel Luna did post this picture, which was, I think, one of the first scenes that they were shooting for the show. Obviously, we can see Pedro Pascal playing the role of Joel from the game. We see Gabriel Luna himself on the right playing Tommy Miller, Joel's brother from the game. And in the back, we can actually see Nico Parker, who's going to be playing Joel's daughter. For fans of the video game, we all know what fate awaits her. And obviously, it's going to be something we're probably going to see in the first 2 episodes. It looks like they are actually shooting the prologue from the video game, where we actually have Joel, Tommy, Aunt Sarah, Joel's daughter, driving away from the city when things start going bad in the first place. So what this tells us is that they're definitely filming the prologue for 1, and it looks like they're more or less being loyal to the events of the video game, and they're not changing things too much. We are in fact going to start with the prologue story in the TV show version, just like we did in the video game. Now, what's also interesting is that I found this image, which is a behind the scenes image from filming at a school, and it obviously means that it's possible they're gonna expand the prologue a little bit and possibly have a situation where Sarah is picked up from school instead of being at home with Joel, where she and the audience witnessed the very first infected on the game. The other thing we're gonna take a look at is actually a few images that they took from a town north of where I am. It's like a 2-hour drive in the town of Fort McLeod. Now we can obviously see that they have set up some set pieces. They've decorated the town. We can see some American flags and everything. Now what's interesting is they decorated one building and made it look like some sort of a movie theater, which is very cool because it could mean that they are shooting another scene from the prologue where we had Joel taking an injured Sarah to safety. I have a screenshot of that scene from the video game so you can see which scene I'm referring to. So it looks like they're shooting a scene very similar to that, which is pretty awesome. We see other pics from them decorating the buildings and setting things up for filming. We also have this particular shot, which is pretty cool. Now, what's interesting is that they're making this particular scene look like it's taking place in the city of Austin in Texas. From what I remember, there wasn't a scene or story in Austin, Texas, which is interesting because it could mean that they are changing things a little bit and possibly showing us the fall of society in different cities and towns in the United States, which is pretty cool. There's another shot of some equipment that I believe they're going to be using for some sort of a scene in the show. And those were basically all of the images that were away from where I'm at right now. We're gonna actually move into images from Calgary itself. So we have Kantemir Balagov, who of course is the director of the premiere, like I mentioned. We have this pic on Instagram where he's just walking about the core downtown area. Now what's fun about this area, and obviously you can't see that here, but there's actually a river that runs by the downtown core area, and I'm sure they're going to be using that area to shoot a lot of the scenes where they might want to make use of a scenery where they want to show a city, but at the same time they want to show like a river as well. Kantemir Balagov also posted this image, which is from his first day in Calgary, I think. He's at a restaurant with Pedro Pascal, so that's pretty awesome. This place that they're at is actually like a 2-minute walk from my place, so that's kind of cool. But what's also very cool about this is that there is a stadium, a hockey stadium. They're actually constructing some of the set and filming inside the stadium, which obviously means that it's gonna be very difficult to get images from the inside, and also we don't exactly know what type of scenes they're gonna be filming. So I'm sure they might be using the set inside the stadium to film some of the more, you could say, secretive scenes from the show. We also see this shot of someone working to build this set piece. Neil Druckmann, who's actually the writer for the video game, posted this image when he got to Calgary. He's actually taking this image from a residential building far into the distance. You do see the stadium that I was talking about. Fun fact, you can actually see my place from this image here. You guys may not care, but it's pretty cool. This is actually an image from inside the stadium. This is actually an early image, them setting up some set piece. Now we get to some of the juicy pictures, so we can actually see this image right here. They have built an entire block, or redecorated an entire block to make it look like it's the entrance of the quarantine zone, the QZ zone that we see a lot of at the beginning of the video game. So that's pretty awesome. We can actually see this clear image. Now obviously this is supposed to be in Boston because that's where the video game takes place. I believe they have actually decorated this specific block to look identical to an actual street in Boston. Now you do see some blue tarps on top of some of the buildings, and that's obviously because they're going to be utilizing that for CGI. I'm sure they're going to be putting a lot of things on this to make it look more apocalyptic, even though this looks pretty apocalyptic on its own. We also have this other image. We also see this image right here, which is supposed to be the outside entrance to the QZ zone. And obviously comparing it to the video game, we can see that it looks a lot like the atmosphere and the location that we saw in the video game. Next, we're gonna take a look at some pretty cool Fedra signs. They created this sign, which looks pretty damn cool because it looks like it's taken from the video game. So we can see it says Federal Disaster Response Agency, Incident, Security Force, Secure Area, have your health screening pass on hand at all time. Things that we saw pretty early on in the game. We see a Fedra quarantine zone sign mounted on the wall here, which is cool. We have this one mounted on a mailbox, pretty awesome. This pretty interesting shot of an extra who I'm assuming will be playing a Fedra soldier. This is a pretty clear image of what Fedra soldiers look like in the video game. Now take a look at the blue police barricade that's there. They actually replicated something like that, so we can see a blue barricade with the name Boston on it. We see this image, which is some signs on the wall. Boston Harness, not sure what Boston Harness is, but we also see a spray painted message that says, "We will stand united." Now this spray painted message obviously does reference something that takes place in the video game, or a story that takes place in the video game. And that's pretty much it. That's everything that I wanted to go through, all of the images that I was able to find. As I find more images, and if I find some exclusive information or things like that, I will share that with you as well. And if you do want to follow that, make sure to subscribe and press the bell button to be notified when I upload on the channel. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash the like button and also share the video so that others can take a look at these behind the scenes photos. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time for another super video.